Hey there everybody, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through a really cool resource if you're looking to edit your own videos completely free. So we're going to be using Filmora. You'll see we have all of these new updates in this newest version, but basically I have Filmora here, and then I have a video that I'll be using in the background as a sample. Now, if you want to see my first impression video where I walk through the UI and kind of stumble through it the first time, feel free to check that out. I'll have the link in the description. But basically, I'm logged in here, and you'll see I don't even have an account. I just downloaded it from their website. I went through in the first video and actually went through their little tutorial, which was really nice and made me really almost fall in love with the product. I'm not there just yet, but I've really liked it so far. So when you go to the Create Project screen, we have this Create New Project. And this is where we load this giant full screen editor, which I really like the layout for. So from what I've seen, unlike with Olive, where you can bounce back and forth pretty quickly and drag and drop, it doesn't seem like there's it's just as easy here to move the different pieces of this interface around. So let's just say I want to drag this player over. It basically completely pulls it out from within this frame. So you can lock it in here, or you can pull it out as its own separate window, which is really cool. So the idea here is you can click on the different components and areas, but it has a similar look and feel to Olive. It's just a much cleaner interface. So if we were to start, let's just say we want to start with a video. We'll click right here, and we're going to use my intro for my YouTube videos. Now, once you have your videos in here, you can, if you want, import additional media. There are some record options up here, but we're just going to go with a single video for now and just kind of show you what this video editor can do. So I'm going to drop it to the far left over here. So we're starting from the very beginning. And then we will rewind over here. And you'll see that the audio is very loud, which is why I actually have started toning it down a bit on some of my videos. But we just want to go through the changes that you can make. So first off, let's look at adjusting the volume. So we have sound balance here, we have a fade in and out, audio ducking. I'm just going to drop the volume. So I usually put it at -25 for my intro. So we'll just put -24 and we'll play. And you'll hear it's much quieter, which I really like. So that's really easy. Now let's try to mess with the sound balance. I'm going to need to make it a little bit louder because obviously it's going to be picking it up through my computer speakers. And let's try sound balancing over to the right, and we'll click play. And now you may not be able to hear it, but it's much more clearly coming out of the right side of my computer speakers, which is kind of cool. So if you need to edit those effects, you can. We'll try fade in, and we'll drop this back to the beginning. And as you can tell, it kind of faded in with the audio, which is cool. You just have a lot of audio options. I don't want to go into all of them, but you also have options for changing the speed. So if we want to change this to 2x, it has that honestly kind of cool effect. You have ripple and maintaining pitch. So you have all of these options here. So we'll drop this speed back to around 1-ish and go back to the video. So now we have some transform options. So we are going to go through, before we go through all the different effects, we're just going to go through some of these basic options here that a lot of people will use. So the opacity, you can see clearly in this screen up here. If you want, you can enable drop shadow and some other features that I don't really plan to use personally, but you can see there's quite a few options, including auto enhance. We have a flip option, which, as you would expect, basically brings it through almost like a mirror. So you can flip it any way you want. You can also rotate. And another thing that I like, not only do they give you the ability to choose right here and type it in, but you also have the ability to do some scaling if you're interested. And it gives you the ability to drag, so you can make this video larger. You can basically zoom out if you want, and you can scale across X and Y axes. So you have a ton of different options. And then there's just a basic reset button if you need to. Going over to mask, you'll see we have a draw mark. So let's just say, so you'll see we have a couple of things here. Maybe we want to remove that mark. So you'll see we have a rectangle, circle options. So basically ways to kind of crop that video. So if we wanted to put a giant heart here and then play, you'll see that the video is playing within that little heart view. So just a couple cool things to see. You can import your own as well. They have some AI tools here, which I'm not really going to mess with. And then you'll see we have some animations, which I love. So let's do this. If we were to go back to mask, for example. So we're going to use none. And then we're going to go over here under video. We will go to animations. And we'll do a fade in. So we have to double click or drag to apply. So we're fading in the beginning. So we will put this here and click play. And you'll see that the fade is basically taking effect. Obviously not implemented correctly, but the idea here is we did the fade out. You can do the fade in instead if you want. And just kind of change and mess with things however you think is best. So really kind of cool. I want to see what this vortex does really quickly. So you double click to apply. You can see that vortex, it has that spinning motion. And then you can just click here and you see the vortex, it kind of like flies out. We have the zoom in, you can see. So when you double click these effects, you'll see over here exactly how it works. So tons of really cool effects that you can implement really easily. So overall, they have a really robust set of features, especially when you go through, you have this main section up top, and then beneath you have all of the other tools that you can go through in these pretty robust set of panels. And then all of your functionality down here for the player, so play, pause, rewind, your quality. We also have a couple of others, so preview, snapshots, volume, and then full screen. Over here is your menu for all of your media that you're going to add or work with in your project. And then you have your pretty standard screen down here. So if we wanted to drop another video on top, we can stagger videos and have multiple set up right here. And then you can just click them and click delete to delete them. And now we're going to get into what I think is probably the more enjoyable portion, which is the project setup here. So the different layers and stock media that you can use. So for stock media, you'll see I don't have any, but you can go to film stock and they actually import some for you. So you have green screen if you wanted to add in something like an explosion. It'll download it. And then when we click play, you'll see that we have my screen up here. And then you'll see the explosion shows up with that green screen. So obviously that's not very attractive and it doesn't really work with what I'm doing, but just an option to try. You have Giphy and other pixels that you can use if you're interested. So I like dogs, for example. If I were to play this one, and we'll delete some of these effects, you'll see that the dog will go over top, and then my video's in the background, which appears with the other preset effects. Then we have all of these others we can use. Just make sure you're using whatever is, like you're using things that you have the licenses or rights to use. So that's the stock media. If we go to audio, you'll see all of these different audio effects that you can use. So for example, Christmas is coming up, which I love to celebrate. So if I were to drop this in the audio section, and then we can move this over, you'll see that the Christmas jingle bells are now playing in the background. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of go through here and add in whatever you're interested in. If you need to add titles, you can go to this page. So if we wanted to add in a title like this, you drag and drop it wherever you want, and then you would just figure out what you want that title to be. So for me, I could make a new YouTube title if I wanted to. So if we were to put Tyler Talks and then click play, now you see that title is displayed. And you can do this with all of these different titles as you're scrolling through. We also have transitions, which I think will be very good for people. I think that people will really enjoy them. So I'm going to delete some of the other content. And now let's check out some of these transitions. So if we were to drag in realistic smoke effects, for example, and go back to the video of the dog, you'll see that we have the smoke effect over top, the dog disappears, and then we have Tyler Talks. That's kind of a weird transition, so probably not something you want. but definitely a cool series of effects to use. So you can swap out those with any of these transitions. You'll see we have dissolve, warp to zoom. So that gives you an idea. When we go back to the beginning the first time around, if you'll notice right here, this smoke effect is what we just added. And then it was a short clip, so then it immediately goes into Tyler Talks. So we have effects here, similar to what we were just doing. You have all of these different effects that you can work with. So you can scroll through and see AR stickers, AI portraits, different video effects, overlays. You have to wait a bit for some of them to download, but they're pretty quick. You have stickers on this page, and then you have templates here. So tons of different options, as you can see, for different things. So for example, Christmas coming up, we have this here. And we have all of these different templates and themes. So that covers the bulk of it. Now you'll be able to edit all the settings over here on the right side depending on what you're doing, and you have an additional tool menu up here. But you would basically just go back to your default screen by going to Media here, and then you can import, add, make any changes down here, and you have a few additional tools in this toolbar here. But that covers the basics. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.